the Turkish shell fire was so terrific that the lines used to get busted up as bursting shells. Then the only communication was that's where the word runner was born. I was a runner.
100 years ago, Australia and New Zealand were at war against Germany. They called it the Great War on a scale the world had never experienced before. Hundreds of thousands of Australians and New Zealanders fought on the battlefields of the Middle East and Europe. From a human level, soldiers and loved ones were worlds apart. The heart-wrenchingly slow pace at which post moved added to the distance between people and the disparate worlds that existed, an experience that in today's world we cannot begin to understand.
We were inspired by the extensive collections of original photos, film and documentation from the time of the Great War, and the ways in which it had been remembered, relived and passed down through many journalistic channels over the past 100 years. All of this diverse media, rich detail and authentic material appeared trapped in archives, and we wanted a way to draw the material out and integrate it for audiences young and old. We also wanted to provide a parallel lens to integrate what was happening in Australia at the time with what was happening at the war front, giving the audience a dual perspective that highlighted how the war both tore us apart and brought us back together again. We began with open data from the Australian War Memorial to provide the timeline to frame the story, and then drew on additional APIs and CSVs from the State Libraries of Queensland and Western Australia, the ABC, and the National Film and Sound Archive. The system was developed in PHP using the Model View Controller approach, leveraging JavaScript and SQL. It was important to us that the data tell the story, to come alive as dynamically as possible whilst conveying the diversity of life stories that wove our history during this period. To help the audience feel as if they were immersed in the data, we included interactivity, allowing users to enter their gender and age to shape the material presented on the timeline.
Brantley Adams. On the 12th of October 1917, while fixing wires, a bomb exploded, killing him instantly. Before enlisting, he was employed on mines and was a well-known man on the field. Besides his widow, he leaves 5 children to mourn their loss.
During the GovHack weekend, we have built the basic framework for this interactive integration of World War I media, but there is so much more archive material that needs to be drawn out for the world to see. With this beginning, we hope to integrate more archive material as well as provide ways for the public to contribute additional material, enriching the diversity of data, artefacts and life stories that capture our history and shape our shared future.